Hello, my fellow McCartneyans. I am just out of the shower, so that's why I have this beautiful hair here. Um, and this is my second video on the channel. I thought my first video wasn't good, but I had fun doing it, and I think that's the spirit. Today we're gonna talk about McCartney 1, which is actually just called McCartney, released in 1970. And this is my first part in a series I will call Album Chat and Review. And it's just, I'm not gonna try and review it like professionally because I'm not a professional, no, on anything. But I'm not gonna try also to come here and talk about the history and a lot of facts about the record because I feel like that is just boring. I'm gonna try and get a nice balance. So I think we shall start. So McCartney was released on the 17th of April 1970. Here is the back of the LP. I think this picture is incredible, and the front picture too. I've seen on the internet some people saying that they would prefer if this was the front picture and this the back. But I don't think so. I like this one. I love artistic covers. So this is more artistic, I think. And yeah, about the artwork, this was Linda's picture. These two pictures were Linda, and if I'm not mistaken, this is Baby Mary here. Talking about my edition of the vinyl record here. This is a Brazilian pressing, and if I'm not mistaken, it's 1970 release, and it's in mono, which is weird because usually I see stereo Brazilian pressings. I think this is my only mono Brazilian pressing in my collection, and it's great sounding. For a Brazilian pressing, I'm usually not that big of a fan, but this one is really good. And well, talking about the circumstances of the album or of when the album was released, I'm pretty sure most of you know that Paul was actually, this was actually the first Beatles record to ever be released. So I forgot to show, it's actually gatefold. So we have a couple pictures here, mostly of Paul, and it's pretty cool. I like it. And my pressing has the Apple logo here, which I think is the most common way of, you know, release. I don't even think it wasn't released with the Apple label. Maybe on the re-releases. Anyway, the Beatles had just broken up. Actually, they hadn't officially, because John actually left the band a little bit before McCartney, when McCartney was being recorded, and Paul was in a terrible mood. He was suffering from depression, and he was extremely sad. You know, the Beatles were a huge part on his life. So, and we can see from the Get Back documentary, at least it's my point of view, that Paul was the one really trying to work things out among the other three members. So he must have been heartbroken. So John announced he was gonna quit the band. At that time, it wasn't a public announcement though, because they wanted to release Get Back with Phil Spector as a producer. Of course, that's the album we know today called Let It Be. So before announcing that John had publicly left the band, they were finishing Get Back. That's why not Get Back, Let It Be. That's why on the last sessions of the Beatles, John isn't there. If I'm not mistaken, the Beatles' last session was I Me Mine in 1970. So, this was how Paul came up with McCartney in this hostile environment. And what he did was he got a 4-track tape machine and he actually recorded most of the stuff in his house, which is incredible if you think about it, because right now a lot of people are doing this, recording stuff on their rooms and with their own equipment, which wasn't possible back then. I'm not sure if he was the first one to do that, but I'm pretty sure he was an inspiration for a lot of people, including myself, because I play a little bit of the instruments here, and he's always been a great inspiration. This record in particular, and I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that, but this is extremely lo-fi sounding. It's got a home recording vibe that simply doesn't match any other McCartney record and any other Beatles record. It just sounds like a guy who recorded things at his house, which is, exactly what happened. So it makes sense. A funny thing to mention before we go to the song list here is that Paul and Ringo and John and George actually had an argument about the release of this record, because the other Beatles were actually choosing not to release any solo records so that Let It Be could have the spotlight as the final Beatles album, but Paul simply didn't care about that and released it anyway. Some people say that he was a little bit, not understanding with his colleagues, but you know what? Everyone is a little bit right and everyone is a little bit wrong. So yeah, I think that's it for the story of McCartney. Of course, we could talk here a lot about a lot of different things about this record, but these topics are what I feel are the most important. So let's go to the song list. I'm gonna talk a little bit about them and what I feel they represent, to me at least. Well, Lovely Linda is the first song, and it's a snippet of a tune, but I think it's lovely, and it sounds like a great starter. Some people don't like it. I think it's cool. I like that it's here. That would be something. This, I think, it's one of the hidden gems of Paul, especially early Paul in his solo work. I love it. I just feel like it has a certain vibe that this whole album does, actually, of that doesn't match any other Paul McCartney record, and it's lovely. And I know for a fact George Harrison really liked this one. Valentine Day is the first instrumental, and I'm gonna talk about all instrumentals here when I say that I think sometimes they're a bit too much. The musician in me really likes this idea that Paul is doing whatever he wants and he's playing with himself, and that didn't sound great. But he is playing by himself, and he can just pour out his entire creativity on a track that usually wouldn't be released on anything. So it's cool in that sense. That being said, I sometimes skip them because I'm not a huge fan of instrumental songs. Next one is Every Night, and that is definitely one of the highlights of the album. It's pretty famous, I'd say. It's not as hidden as That Would Be Something, and it's just got that crazy homemade vibe again. It's incredible how the guitars, the acoustic guitars, get you somewhere on that song. And it's great. I love it. It's one of my highlights. We have Hot as Sunglasses, which is kind of the same thing as Valentine Day, although I like Hottest Sun more than Valentine Day. We have Junk, which goes to show how side A of this record is incredible. Um, and I love it. Paul has had the idea of Junk, I think, since Let It Be. Um, Maybe even before that, and he recorded it during, if I'm not mistaken, the Abbey Road sessions, although it never went into Abbey Road. So, and it's one of those classic Paul on the acoustic songs that never go wrong, and it's just great. And it's got a really different message, I think, for people on that generation, which is, the amount of trash. And here is Paul showing how he is carrying the flag of, ambientalism. I'm not even sure if that word is good here. I'm sorry for that. But, showing that he cares about the environment. Environmentalism maybe is a better word. But yeah, um, that is different, I think. Man We Was Lonely. Linda's doing backing vocals here, so it's the only other musician that appears on the record that isn't Paul. And I'm not a huge fan of her backing vocals here. I think they sound a little bit too corny, or maybe too mature. I'm not sure, but it just doesn't fit as well as other things she did with Paul on, like, for example, Some People Never Know, or even Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey on Ram. Um, but I still like the song. I still do. My girlfriend totally hates it, but anyway. Ooh You, I love the beginning of that track. He just goes, he just has a guitar riff, and then you can hear him say more guitar, and then more guitar comes in, and it totally rocks, and it's great. I love it. Mama Miss America, another one that isn't a highlight for me. I don't have anything to say about it really. It's a cool one. Teddy Boy, I love that, and it's on the same spirit as Junk, meaning that it was recorded in the Beatles sessions. Not this version, but there's a version of the Beatles sessions that it's included on Anthology 3, and it's great. I love it. I love when Paul tells a story, and here he does it not in a romantic way as Eleanor Rigby, let's say, but it's still a cool story. Sing Along Junk, I'm not even sure why this is here. That isn't saying that it isn't a good song, because it is. I love the piano. It sounds amazing, but it's Junk again. Maybe I'm amazed. Of course, this is the highlight of the album. It doesn't sound like Paul is playing everything. It doesn't have that home recording vibe that the other songs do, which is why I would say it wouldn't be fitting on the record. But it's such an incredible song that I give it a pass. It's amazing, and it's one of the great Paul McCartney songs, and it's a incredible love song. He just kills it on the vocals, which is something I haven't said in this video, but Paul is the guy on the vocals. I love simply everything he does on the vocals, especially with this record, Ram, and the Wings. It's just incredible. Last song is Cream or Crore. I'm not even sure how to pronounce that. I think it's a Brazilian tribe, so I should know that. But anyway, a good closing track. I think instrumental, but really good. Maybe I'm Amazed is the actual climax of the record, and Queen of Crow is like, but I'm Paul McCartney, I'm gonna do something different, and here it is, and it's great. McCartney, what a great record. I feel like some songs, mostly the instrumentals, are kind of filler, which makes it not as good as it could be, because it could have been one of Paul's best. I don't think it's that good though. but I'm pretty sure everybody who likes rock and classic rock music, is gonna enjoy this. It's an 8 out of 10. I love it. It's fucking McCartney. Please, guys. So yeah, this is it for today. 15 minutes. Wow, how time goes by when you talk about something you like. Um, Again, I'm not doing this video for anyone. I'm doing it for myself. Talking with the camera about it, it makes me feel good, because I love what Paul does and what the Beatles did and everything regarding that. And I'm gonna bring up um, other bands too here, just because I don't listen only to the Beatles. I listen to a lot of different bands too. So yeah, please, if you did watch this video, please leave a like and a comment telling me why you're here, and please subscribe. Thank you guys. See you later. McCartney is a blast. Please listen to it. You're doing yourself a favor. This guy is amazing. I love him. Bye guys.